Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Glad to be back.
Today we're diving into Eon Reality's Knowledge Simulator. I think a lot of our listeners have probably at least heard of it.
Yeah, it's been generating a lot of buzz.
It has, but we're not just going to skim the surface.
Hmm.
We're going deep, really trying to figure out what makes this thing tick. And we've got their press release here with all the juicy details.
Oh, yeah.
So
Lots to unpack.
it seems like they're really trying to change the game when it comes to education, like really rethink it from the ground up.
Absolutely, and that's what I find so interesting. It's not just a new piece of tech. It's a whole new philosophy of learning, you know?
Right, and they talk about these 4 different approaches to learning in the press release, like procedural, exploratory, interactive, and
Creative.
right. What is that all about?
Well, that's where their adaptive learning path comes in. You know how most education is kind of like a one-size-fits-all approach?
Yeah.
This is the opposite. The knowledge simulator actually figures out how you, as an individual, learn best.
Oh, wow.
Like, are you a visual learner? Do you learn best by doing? Do you need things broken down step by step? The platform figures that out and then creates a personalized learning path just for you.
Okay, so instead of me trying to figure out how to learn the material the best way, the system figures it out for me.
Exactly.
Wow, that's pretty cool. But then there's the actual content itself, right? Like, how is the information being presented? The press release mentions all these 3D models, simulations and stuff.
Right, so think about it. Instead of just reading about something or watching a video, you're actually interacting with it in a three-dimensional space.
So it's like way more immersive.
Way more immersive. Like, let's say you're learning about the human circulatory system.
Okay.
Instead of just looking at a diagram in a textbook,
Right.
you could be holding a virtual 3D heart in your hand, zooming in on the valves, seeing how the blood flows through it. You could even, like, virtually perform a procedure on it.
It's like you're actually there doing it.
Exactly. It makes
Yeah.
the learning way more engaging and, honestly, way more effective.
I mean, yeah, when you put it like that, I could see how that would make a big difference.
There's a lot of research showing that this kind of multimodal learning, where you're using multiple senses and interacting with the material, it leads to much deeper understanding and better retention.
That makes sense. It's kind of like how we learned as kids, right? Like we were always touching things, exploring, experimenting.
Exactly. The knowledge simulator taps into that natural way of learning. It's not just passive absorption, it's active engagement.
And then they have this real-time feedback system, which, I mean, just from reading about it, it's pretty amazing.
It is. It's like having a personalized tutor right there with you, constantly giving you guidance and making sure you're on track.
Yes, you don't get lost or stuck on something for too long.
Exactly. And it's not just beneficial for the learner, it's also incredibly valuable for the educators.
Oh, right, because the teacher can see how everyone's doing in real time.
Exactly. They can see where individual students are struggling, or if the whole class is having trouble grasping a particular concept.
And then they can adjust their teaching accordingly.
Exactly. It allows for this really dynamic and responsive learning environment where everyone is truly learning and understanding the material.
So it sounds like they've really thought this through, considered both the learner's experience and the teacher's role. And they talk about how this can be used in all sorts of fields like healthcare, engineering, environmental science, like pretty much anything.
Right, and that's what's so exciting about it. It's not just limited to traditional academic subjects.
Yeah, and they give this example about a surgeon being able to practice a complicated surgery.
Yeah, virtually in the simulator.
Right, before actually operating on a real person.
Right, so they can get the tactics they need, make mistakes in a safe environment, and get feedback on their technique, all before stepping into the actual operating room.
And that's just one example. I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless when you think about it.
It is. It could really revolutionize how we train people in all sorts of professions.
I did find one thing interesting, though. They quote Eon Reality's founder, Dan Lajerskar, saying that this platform represents a paradigm shift in education. So that's a pretty bold statement.
It is, but I think it might be accurate. Think about it. What if where you live or what your background is no longer determine what you could learn or what kind of education you could get?
So anyone, anywhere, could have access to the best educational resources.
Exactly. The knowledge simulator has the potential to democratize learning in a way that we've never seen before. And that's pretty paradigm shifting, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It really makes you think about the future of education, like what it could look like if we really embrace this kind of technology.
Exactly. And that's what's so exciting about it. We're not just talking about incremental improvements. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how we approach learning as a society.
All right, so let's recap. EON Reality's Knowledge Simulator. It's not just a new piece of technology. It's a new way of thinking about learning. It personalizes the experience for each learner, uses immersive technology to make it engaging and effective, provides real-time feedback to keep everyone on track, and has the potential to be used in pretty much any fields you can imagine.
And that's really just scratching the surface. There's so much more to explore here. And I think the biggest takeaway is that this platform really forces us to ask ourselves, what if? What if we could learn anything, anywhere, anytime? Like, what would that world look like? What would become possible?
Yeah, that's a great question to leave our listeners with. I think we all need to ponder that a bit.
Definitely. It's something to think about.
And for those of you who want to learn more about the Knowledge Simulator, definitely check out their platform features guide. It goes into a lot more detail about all the cool stuff we talked about today.
It's worth a read, for sure.
And that's it for this deep dive. We'll be back next time exploring another fascinating topic from the world of technology and innovation. Until then, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep those questions coming.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.